And so we have our ranking member, Ms. Lofgren from California, so I'd like to now recognize her for her opening statement.
Well, thank you, Mr. Chairman. And before making my statement, I would like to join you in offering our wishes and prayers for the Lamalfa family. As you know, I chair the California Democratic delegation, and we were stunned and just heartbroken to learn of Doug's passing. I personally worked with him very closely on some farm workforce issues, and I will miss him greatly. Also, as you did, I was able to text with Jim Baird, our member from, who is just such a remarkable person, a hero, a war hero, so bright. He let me know, as he did you, that he has been discharged, although his wife is still in the ICU, so she needs our prayers. And we hope that they will both have a speedy recovery, and we join us here in our work. I also want to thank you, Mr. Chairman, for this hearing and the opportunity 1 year into the Trump administration's basic assault on environmental protection to discuss what's happening at EPA. Now, we are halfway through the Congress, and so far, no EPA officials have testified before the committee. I think Congress needs to hold the executive branch accountable, and the political leadership at EPA, in my judgment, has much to account for. I hope that this hearing will soon be followed by another one in which this committee can hear directly from Administrator Zeldin and hold him accountable. It's been a bad year for EPA, for our environment, and for the public health and safety of the American people. Over the past 12 months, EPA's workforce has been gutted as thousands of employees were pushed out of the agency. Critical laboratories, such as the Human Research Facility at the University of North Carolina, have been shut down. Climate denialism is ascendant. Administrator Zeldin speaks of, quote, driving a dagger straight into the heart of the climate change he calls religion, while references to climate change are erased from agency websites, and the agency moves to repeal the endangerment finding that underpins greenhouse gas regulation. Virtually every environmental standard is set to be weakened, from particulate matter, mercury in the air we breathe, PFAS in the water we drink. The agency seems to elevate the interests of corporate polluters over the public. The EPA, in my view, has abandoned its mission and obligation to protect the environment and public health. On top of it all, independent science at EPA has been wiped out. In a tragic loss for our country, the Trump administration has eliminated the EPA Office of Research and Development, which was the beating heart of science at the agency virtually since its creation. ORD provided independent, unbiased, cutting-edge environmental research to ensure that the agency was equipped with the best available science. Now it's gone. EPA tried to obscure this by inventing a new, quote, applied science office, but it is barely 1/3 the size of ORD and located within the Office of the Administrator, where presumably undesirable science is far more vulnerable to political interference. These changes essentially remove independent science from decision-making at EPA. But don't take my word for it. The Senate Appropriations Committee, on a bipartisan 26-2 vote, declared itself, quote, appalled at the elimination of ORD and expressed concern about the immeasurable risk to our health and environment that would come from undermining EPA's ability to clean up hazardous chemicals, respond to disasters, and support states and tribal nations with sound, actionable science. That is the Senate Appropriations Committee language. Two leaders under ORD under Republican administrations, Dr. Paul Gilman and Dr. Jennifer Ormza-Zuleta, have submitted a letter for this hearing in which they express concern that the dismantling of ORD will, quote, be detrimental to research innovation and further hinder the efforts of the chemical industry to innovate. Now, both sides of the aisle can agree. A future without ORD is a bleak future indeed. Mr. Chairman, I ask unanimous consent to enter to the record the letter from Dr. Gilman and Dr. Ormza-Zuleta.
So ordered.
Today's hearing, thank you, is focused on chemical processes at EPA. The elimination of ORD will undoubtedly make these processes worse. Without independent science to support agency decision-making, EPA will struggle to craft health protective chemical regulations. Instead, the agency is far more likely to be unduly influenced by industry-backed science or to simply lack the scientific data necessary to make informed decisions altogether. I want to thank the witnesses for appearing today. We need to have an open and honest conversation about what's happening at EPA, especially regarding environmental research and development, where the Science Committee has absolute jurisdiction. After a year of damage, it's time for us to start thinking about how to rebuild independent science at EPA and restore it to its rightful place. And I thank you, Mr. Chairman, and I yield back.